Welcome, everyone, to the Tonya Hofmann's fabulous TV show. I am Tonya Hofmann, and this is my fabulous TV show. And I always have incredibly fabulous guests, like my incredible guest, Miss Deborah Chellette Wilson. Hey, Deborah.
Hi, how are you?
So y'all going to hear from Deborah in just a minute. And as you know, every time I have a guest, you're always blown away by their knowledge, their expertise, who they are, their character, their personality. So we're going to get into her in just a second. Remember, we would love for you to be on this show as well. We've also got lots of opportunities for you to go out and change other people's lives by getting your message out there and getting to really know people and help them. And so join the Public Speakers Association so we can help you go out and change people's lives. Change the world from the front of the room. That's our motto. So go to Public Speakers with an S, Association, all spelled out, .com, and let's get connected. All righty, so let's get into today. So Deborah, we are so excited. Okay, there is so much that I just adore you about, but I know that you're all about, defrazzling people's lives, and I'm sure that yours isn't as defrazzled as you'd want it, right? But tell us about you and how fabulous you are and what you've got going on.
I have a lot of things going on. I'm a counselor, and I have a company that has been giving educational services for a long time. And I'm also expanding my reach to offer coaching for helping women get defrazzled, because things are stressful for women. We've got lots of things going on. I have lots of things going on. I live on 11 acres, and so I have to help, I don't have to, but I'm learning how to do tractors and different things that I've never done before and helping my husband on our acreage. And also I'm an artist and a writer. And so I have art, the paintings that I do, which I'm making now into jewelry.
Oh, pretty. I want one.
And then also I have a coaching program that I have 3 levels that people can get involved in and participate in, depending on what they want to do, that works toward helping women get out of overwhelm, get defrazzled, and start living a more balanced life. I think that's something that we are all challenged as women, is how do we keep a balance with all of the things that we're juggling? Because I don't know a woman that isn't doing multiple things. I mean, I think we've taken multitasking to a ridiculous level, and I don't think it's helping us much. So I love to help women start making that a little bit better in their lives so that they can really have better moods.
Right. Well, I think it's a challenge for most people, right? It's I've got to do this, I got to do this. And then they're like, oh my gosh, how am I ever, I only have 24 hours. And I know that people are always like, well, Einstein only had 24 hours and this person only, and I'm like, okay, but this is my life. And Einstein didn't have children and probably a dog and this.
Exactly. Yeah, because a lot of the men that have been highly successful in life, what did they have? They had a wife. But as wives, who do we have? Or even single women, who do we have to help us, navigate all of the many things that we have to deal with? So, it's kind of like we're everything for everybody. And I think I think it's getting harder and harder to be all for everybody, because it's becoming detrimental to women's health, which is something that's a concern for me in the clients that I've worked with, because many of them have health issues and they don't realize the connection between how they're not managing stress and how it's affecting their body. So there's a big connection that the people in general don't really understand, and women definitely don't, because if you look at the research about women's health, it's gone down in the last several years compared to women who came before us. So I think that's a big red flag saying, we need to do something about it.
Yeah, and I know, when I look back at it, my grandmothers, right, they kept the home. They had children, and then once the children went away, they just kind of kept the home.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, I can't even imagine, just doing like one thing, and that's it, right? And I'm like,
exactly.
So many aspects to our lives now because we want to own our own lives. And I think that's the challenge, is it's not just our lives, it's a piece of everybody else's life.
Right. Well, and another thing too is women are uniquely different. Every woman's life is different. There's no one size fits all, yet we're looking at other people and comparing ourselves against their life and then feeling like we're not good enough or we're less than, or, we're just not getting it together, when that's probably not true, because we really need to look at our own individual lives, our values, what's important to us, and then find some balance between all that, which also includes self-care, because women are not on their own to-do list. They're not even on their back burner. And I think that's, that's something that as women, we really need to start noticing, because if we overcare, then we will deplete ourselves and run out of energy. I mean, how many times probably has that happened to you? I know it's happened to me. And it's like, it's a pattern I've been breaking over the last several years. And that's part of what has helped me create the programs that I have, is just out of my own experience of going, wait a minute, this is not working. So what do I need to do different?
I know.
And I think it's really hard.
I love your programs, that the whole idea of defrazzle, because I think people, especially for women, especially going into the holidays now and then going into next year, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even get done what I need to do this year.
Right.
And so we put a lot of pressures on ourselves. And a lot of it, I did myself, right? When I had my daughter, new little baby, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to be a mommy, but I've got to work. And I've got, instead of just saying, I'm still Tonya, I just now have a child, right? And now I'm a mommy, but I'm still Tonya. And I think a lot of times we put ourselves into these categories that are artificial categories. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I would call them roles. We have all these roles, but we get kind of stuck in the role and we forget who we are. And that's what we really need to maintain contact with. And actually, that's a lot of what I think women need to refocus back on, that core of who they are. And from that place, reconnect with their values and what's important to them, and creating their recipe for what success is based on their unique values, their unique situation, and then looking at the roles that they have in life. And then the question is, well, how do I, have a balance between all these roles and not lose me in the process? Yeah. Because when women lose themselves, I think it's detrimental to everything, because we're what brings the nurturing and the care to the world. And I think that my opinion is the world's suffering because women aren't connected to who they really are. We're just frazzled and overwhelmed and running and not being connected to what's really important to us, getting distracted by so many things. I mean, right, the way things are now, we are invited to be distracted just every day. And I think that's something we need to take account of and get in control of instead of letting it control us. And I don't think we can do that until we identify what's really important to us and use that as a measure in our lives. And that's been so helpful to me and the women that I've worked with.
I love that.
So we redefine success, not based on the outside, but based on what's within us. And that becomes our measure.
Well, and I see this a lot with both men and women, but especially for women, is that we project what we see other people do in that role and think that that has to be us, right? So I remember when I first got married, I'm like, oh, I'm a wife now, so I need to clean and I need to cook and make these huge meals, even though there was only two of us. And, and I was like doing all this. And then one day I was just like, oh, I'm so exhausted. And my husband was like, I've never asked you to do any of this. And I'm like, I don't have to do this? And I realized at that moment how I had projected what I thought being a wife was, right? Without even looking at the reality of it.
Yeah. And so I've done the same thing. And it kind of comes from beliefs that are entrenched in us that we don't even realize we have until we get into that role and they kick in. And then we're off and running without really asking anybody, do you really want me to do this for you? And then we get frazzled and run down and sometimes bitter and angry. And it's like, we did it to ourselves. because nobody's doing it to us. And I think that when women can start waking up to that and reeling that kind of stuff in and just making choices based on conversations with the people in their lives and finding out what is really important, then that changes a lot of the frazzledness. Yeah. And so, in the beginning, this time of the year for me is a time where I start reflecting on where I've been and where I want to go. And so the beginning of the year, I know we all make our little things about what we're going to be doing that run out in about our resolutions that run out in about two weeks. I like to work with women on defrazzling 2017. I think that would be really, really great, where we really come together and we look at what's really important, to you as a woman in your life, not somebody else's. And then how do we help you get that without being so frazzled in 2017? And so that's what I'm working on for the new year, is a program to help women answer those questions for themselves, from themselves, and not from what they think other people want from them or what they think they should do, but what really speaks to their heart and soul. Because to me, there's nothing more powerful than a woman who's connected to her heart and soul, living her life with more balance. And that's what I love helping women do.
I love that. And I really love your program. It's one of those things that when you start diving into it, you really have to, for a lot of us, it's hard to look and say, who are we really? Mm-hmm. I know it took me a long time to figure out who Tonya is. And now that I'm comfortable being Tonya, it's like, can't imagine being anything different. But mm-hmm. It's all of these from, high school, what kind of girl should I be, to, the daughter, what kind of daughter should I be, what kind of wife, what kind of mother, what kind of business person, what kind of speaker. We put ourselves in all these things instead of going, okay, how can Tonya do the best she can at this, right?
Right, exactly. And what you're going to do is going to be different from what someone else is going to do. And as women, we are so hard on ourselves, and we compare and we contrast and we judge unmercifully, and we're not better for it.
Yeah.
And I just want to support women in stopping it.
Yay! That's perfect. So I know that you have something really amazing you'd like to give our listeners today. What is that?
Oh, yes. I would love to offer the listeners, I have an ebook on the someday aisle of women, about the someday aisle of getting to self-care, and also an opportunity to have a conversation with me in a strategy session and see if we're a match, and that what we can do to create a new and a less frazzled 2017 for them. And they can connect with me by emailing me at Deborah Chellette Wilson at gmail.com, and that is spelled DeborahChellettewilson at gmail.com. It's kind of long.
Yeah.
But that's me.
So it's worth doing, everyone. Just do it. So DeborahChelletteWilson.com at gmail.com. Connect with her. Make sure that you get a part of her life. She's really one of those people that, I meet a lot of people, and there's some people that just really know, and then people that try to pretend that they know. She's one that really knows, and she can really help you. She's been helping people and their families for eons. Well, for a couple of years. She's only 12 or so, right? I was like, eons. Okay, she's not that old, so
for a while.
Yeah. And Deborah and I are also into this great company called Excellent Choice that has healthy chocolate, healthy coffee, skincare that's wiping away our wrinkles. I love it.
Me too.
So if you want to find out more about how you too can eat chocolate all day, drink coffee, we would love to get you involved. It's excellentchoice.com, excellent with no E. And it's a lot of fun to be part of something that is revolutionary, that's going going across the U.S. for the first time. You know, we're both so excited about finding people who want to really make a difference in other people's lives. That's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All righty, everybody. So we want you to be back on our next event. So come back and watch my next show, because you'll never know what kind of amazing person can change your life today. So take advantage of Deborah's incredible offer. Come back and meet me anytime. Believe me, we're all out there. Find us on social media. Remember, Tonya is with an O and a Y, and then Hofmann's with one F, two N's. So Frank, Nancy, right? Because my husband's family doesn't know how to spell it right. So find me on there. All right, everyone. Thank you, Deborah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.